Welcome to 100 Yards Football. Today we got our college football team preview, and we're going to preview the Texas A&M Aggies. If you like the video today, please come in and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner, and joining me today is a very talented young man who played at the highest level at Florida State University. He was a first-round selection of the Atlanta Falcons in the 1981 NFL Draft, my man, Mr. Bobby Butler. We're going to break down the Aggies out of the SEC West. So if you like the video today, please come in and share it. So, Brother Butler, what do you like about Texas A&M? I'm not going to get controversial today because the young man that's running the show at A&M was formerly of Florida State. So be kind today, Brother Butler, because I don't want to, start laughing because I know you got some things to say about Jimbo Fisher. But tell us about the Aggies in 2020.
Well, I'm gonna be kind. I'm a fan of Jimbo Fisher. I think Jimbo, when he was at Florida State, he did a great job. I think he left. I think the voices started talking in Tallahassee, and I think he started to hear some of those voices. And he made a business decision for himself. And with the kind of money they pay him, hey, who wouldn't do that? So kudos to Jimbo Fisher. But I tell you one thing though, he's gonna have to do better. Last 2 years, 17 victories. With the kind of money that they paid him, they're looking for a lot better out of Jimbo. But here's the deal, though. Let's be honest. When you bring in a new coach, you got to give him time, not only to implement his system, but to bring in the kind of recruits that he needs to make his program work. You got to give a coach time. And so I can say this, he's had 2 top 10 recruiting classes, that should help him win more games. And so last year they played 6 true freshmen in the lineup. So that experience, man, alone has got to pay some dividends, right? But, they got the quarterback coming back. Kellen Mond is coming back. Kellen Mond had a good year last year. When you look at his numbers, he accumulated 3,398 yards of total offense last year. That was second in the SEC. But let's just be honest. When you look at the SEC quarterback play, that wasn't enough last year. I mean, you think about Joe Burrows, you think about Tua, you think about Fromm, think about the quarterback play they had last year. Hey, man, he's got to step it up. That's big-time football. And so we're not saying that they're not good, but to compete in that conference, they got to step it up. And so they got to do that. He's got to play like an all-star this year for them, right? And he's capable of doing so. Now, at running back, it has sophomore Isaiah Spiller. He's a physical back. He'll pound you. He want to run through you, Vincent. So he had just under 1,000 yards rushing last year with 10 TDs. And then you got incoming freshman Devon Achane, who's going to be a player. And then you got Aeneas Smith, who's converted from wide receiver, because they need some home run threats. When you got Isaiah running through people, he's physical. They need that yin and that yang, right? You got that power, but you need that step back to make it happen. That can take it the distance. And so they're going to be fine with that. And the wide receiver group is where they got to really step up, Vincent. They need some big play threats. And they haven't shown that in the last couple of years. They had 10 pass plays that covered 30 yards or more last season. That's it. You got to do better with that, especially if you got a great running game. You got to be able to throw that ball down the field, play fake, throw that ball down the field and make it happen. They got coming back in the receiver room, Jamon Osborne. He has 6 of those 10 that we talked about, right? Cameron Buckley is a senior, but he's been a backup his whole career. And so I don't really expect him to do much, right? So you got to look for the sophomores, Caleb Chapman, Dylan Wright to challenge for playing time. They got to come in and make it happen. And then they got a great tight end. I tell you, the tight end they got, he's one of the best in the country. Jalen Watermeyer. He had 32 catches, led the team, had 6 touchdowns as a freshman. So look for him to play a bigger role this year until they find the receivers to do what they got to do. But the biggest concern on offense, and here we go, Vince. So we talk about, when you build a team, you got to build it up front on both sides of the ball. My major concern with Texas A&M offense is the offensive line, right? They allowed 69 sacks over the past 2 seasons. They also struggled in run blocking in short yardage situation, and you got to power back. And so, they're not converting those short yardage plays into first downs. That's got to change. So you got Kenyon Green, and they may shift him from right guard to left tackle, which is his natural position. And so you got Carson Green, right tackle. You got Jarrett Hawker at left guard. That's if they stay in the positions that they've been playing in. Their center has been a problem. They've got to solve that, right? I mean, you got a center. He's the meter tick for the offense. He's got to snap the ball. He's got to call the offensive line schemes out. Quarterbacks don't do that no more, Vincent. They use the center to do that. He's got to call the line plays. So they need a real true center, a quarterback of the offensive line, so to speak, right? And so, but I say this, if Ryan McCollum could come back after, he had a ruptured disc, if he could come back and make it back healthy, that'll help them a lot. But I'm looking for this name right here. Remember this name, because we've been hearing this name around college football, around the NFL for a long time now. So look for Luke Matthews. He's the younger brother of former All-American Jake Matthews. All of his brothers and cousins in the NFL, Clay Matthews, and then Clay Matthews Sr. played 18 years, and his brother Bruce. So that's a football name. So look for him to get in there and make something happen. I'm going to predict he'll be All-American and first-round pick before he comes out of college, Vincent. And so that's what we got on offense. On defensive side of the ball, last year, they did finish, ranked among the nation's top 30 in total defense. But here we go again. They play in the SEC West. They got to do better. To contend for anything, when you're in the SEC, man, you got to play lights out. You can't fall asleep. You got to play lights out. So let's talk about their defense. They got defensive tackle. They got Jaden Peavy. He's got NFL potential. That's a good thing. Then we got Bobby Brown III. The thing with him, though, we hope he's working. He's got to get his weight down to about 320. If he can do that, we might have something, right? And so then we got defensive end DeMarvin Leal, who's moving from D tackle to D end, but that should help them boost up their pass rush because they gotta get better up front, right? And then the linebacker group has gotten better. They got Buddy Johnson, they got Anthony Hines. They're coming off two solid seasons of both of them a year ago. Both had more than 70 tackles and 9 stops for loss. So that's got to continue, and they got to even get better on top of that, right? But here's the thing. In the run game last year, Vincent, they allowed 67 running plays of at least 10 yards. At least 10 yards. 67 running plays. That's a lot of yardage on the ground. And so they got to be able to shore that up and stop that. Their secondary need upgrade. Right? They got incoming freshmen Jalen Jones and Antonio Johnson Jr. and a JC transfer corner, Brian George. That will help them, right? Elijah Black's coming off of shoulder surgery, so hopefully that'll boost them too. They got a safety, Damani Richardson, who could also be a star in that secondary. But they gotta shore up that defense. They're playing the SEC West, man. It's not going to be any joke for them. So hopefully with their recruiting class, a lot of those guys may come in and play. But they got to get better all around the board. They got the last 2 games of the year, Vincent. The last 2 games of the year, the 10th game and the 11th game. It's lined up like this: Alabama, then LSU. So it's a must for them to win every game that they're supposed to win. And it's a must for them to win some games that they shouldn't win. They also got Auburn on the schedule. That's going to be a tough win for them, right? And so they're going to have to play lights out, man, and they can't make any mistakes. If they win what they're supposed to win, and they end up in the last 2 games 9-0, all right, then we got something, right? But if they slip up, we can almost count those last 2 games as an L. But if they slip up and lose 2 games before that game, they're not making any strides. And so they got a lot of work cut out for them. If they're going to contend for anything, their quarterback's going to have to step up and play better. Their defense is going to have to play better against the run.
When I think about
that's what I got from Texas A&M.
When I think about the Aggies, Brother Butler, I think about this. First thing comes to my mind is money. The second thing comes to my mind is going from good to great to elite. Jimbo Fisher, 9-4 his first year, 8-5 in his second year. He's had 2 top 10 recruiting classes.
Yes,
he's got talent in it. There's no question about that. So the A&M faithful is saying it's either this season put up or shut up. Right. And I totally agree with you. For me to have a successful season in College Station, the Aggies have got to go 10-1 and be challenging for the SEC West because their schedule sets up very well. They don't have to play Georgia from the SEC East.
Right. That's right.
They got Vanderbilt this season.
Right.
When you look at their schedule and look at the team they have coming back, the players that you mentioned have been there in the system for 2 years. They form a 4-star, 5-star recruits. This is a very experienced football team. They have a quarterback that started for 4 years. Now, granted, he's been inconsistent to me throughout his career. But this year, he's played enough football. He's seen enough competition in the SEC West. It's just time to step up and lead A&M. We're talking about a guy that's a 4-year starter in Kelly Mond. And you got a coach in Jimbo Fisher that's won a national championship at another school who said, if you're going to pay me all this money, this is the resources I need in the state of Texas. And last year, with their recruiting class in 2020, what I was impressed with about A&M, that they went national and got some real nice recruits. Antonio Johnson, Player of the Year in the state of Illinois. So everything is set up for them. You mentioned the wide receiver position. I'm surprised you didn't mention that young man out of Texas. Come on, Brother Butler, Damon Demas, who didn't play his senior year, but from some indications, he was the best receiver in the state of Texas and number 3 on the national level. So I'm expecting him to come in and give them that playmaking ability at the receiver's position. But I'm going to keep it short and sweet. This is a very experienced football team. You got a coach that won a national championship at another school. You got a quarterback. Remember, I'm taking it from the great, the legend, Mr. Bobby Butler, who pounds it in my head every week. When you got a quarterback with experience, you should be able to challenge. And with Kelly Mond, it's time to step up. And to me, he's going to have a very big key as far as A&M advance. And defensively, you mentioned the star players, Mr. Brown, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Hines. They got enough experience coming back on defense. This A&M team, I'm going to say this. Going in at the end of the year against Alabama and LSU, they should be undefeated and rated in the top 5. Brother Butler, your final words.
And I totally agree with you. My final words. They should be. They've got to win those games. Mond's got to step up, play at a higher level. They got to win the games that they're supposed to win. If they do that, they're going to be right in the hunt because they should go in the last 2 games undefeated. But, you know, up that road, they got to take care of Auburn. They got to beat Mississippi State. They got to beat South Carolina. So, yeah, they're going to have to play. And Jimbo knows that. So hopefully he'll have them ready. And hopefully the Aggies will be singing sweet at the end of the year.
One more thing, my final words. If I'm a Texas A&M alum, Jimbo, as Brother Butler brought it up, I didn't bring it up today. Remember, he hit the key word money. Remember, this is what I'm thinking if I'm an A&M alum. Good to great to elite.
Right.
Read between the lines. Texas A&M expect to be elite this season. If you like the video today, please comment and share. We are 100 Yards of Football. Enjoy the 4th of July weekend. I'm Vincent Turner, and joining me is the very talented and the great Bobby Butler out of Florida State University by way of the Atlanta Falcons. Y'all be blessed this weekend.